Welcome to my kitchen. I'm going to work on some salmon today. I am the only person in my household, well actually my daughter, but aside from me and her, nobody else likes fish in my household. So this salmon is all for the girls. I'm going to add some coconut aminos. I don't need a whole lot because it's just one piece of fish. And then this Thai chili. Shake it up. Add some ginger. Awesome. I am searing this in some olive oil, and you could probably use something that withstands a higher heat like avocado oil, but add that sauce to it once I flipped it over and it was cooked about halfway through. And then I flipped it over again a little bit later and added some more sauce and some sesame seeds. So good. It's easy to overcook fish, so I would rather undercook it, and then if I need to, I can stick it back into the microwave. I know that sounds weird, but it's what works for me. And it also helps so that whenever I have leftovers later, I'm not going to be eating overcooked fish when I reheat it. For the asparagus, I just steamed that on the skillet with a little bit of water and then topped everything with some salt and lemon juice. It's freezing cold and spitting snow on April 1st. The angels in heaven are spitting snow at us and laughing. Happy April Fools! I am going to get dinner started. I am using some lemon and garlic and parsley. I'm using heavy whipping cream. I think some butter, chicken broth. I'm using some leftover chicken that I already cooked earlier in the week. I'm using some bacon, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower gnocchi. Once the bacon was cooked about 2/3 of the way through, I went ahead and added the Brussels sprouts, salt, and pepper, and then I put that into the oven for about 30 minutes. Then I got started on the sauce by adding some olive oil to a skillet, put the chopped onion in there, and then some garlic. I used about 3 medium-sized cloves of garlic, and I chopped that up into a decent mince. I could have used my garlic press, but I really didn't want to have to wash anything else. So once the onion was a little bit more translucent, that's when I went ahead and added the garlic. Then I used some fresh parsley that I chopped up kind of loosely and 1 lemon freshly squeezed. To the onion and garlic, you're going to add the lemon juice and then about a cup of chicken broth. When I make this recipe, I used fresh chicken breast and sear it in this skillet at this point, but instead I used the shredded chicken that I already had cooked and then added some heavy whipping cream. That is to taste. I added the parsley to it and then realized I needed more heavy whipping cream, so that's really up to your personal preference. Add some salt and pepper to taste and then see if it needs anything else. You might want to shake in some garlic powder. But next, I wanted to get started with the gnocchi, which I've never bought this kind before. It was my first time trying it. I will say we're probably not going to buy it again, at least not for this kind of recipe. It'd probably be better in a soup. But I just followed the directions on the package, and then when the Brussels sprouts were cooked to my preference, I went ahead and pulled those out and served everything with some bread that I had on hand. This next recipe is something that for the first time I had when I was in college. With the rice, I'm going to just cook it in the Instant Pot, and it actually has a rice button. I have found this button actually works perfect. So I ended up doing a little over 1 cup of rice, and then I did 2 cups of water, and you literally just put it in the pot, close the lid, turn this little tab from here, turn it that way onto sealing, and then push the rice button and literally walk away. It is done. Then it's gonna say auto. Let this do its thing. Once it comes to pressure, it's going to start the timer and work backward. And then once it's done cooking, then it's just gonna go on to warm, because it says right here, keep warm. So then it acts as like a slow cooker where it just stays warm and it no longer cooks. So you don't have to babysit the rice on the stove. And then over here in a skillet, I have my Dutch oven that I'm using, and an old wooden spatula basically that I don't care too much about. I don't want to use one of my beautiful ones because we're going to be using curry. And when you're using something like curry or turmeric, it has such a high concentrated color. It'll stain the wood or plastic, or like if you're gonna put this in a to-go container, a Tupperware container, it'll stain that material. So I would use a stirring utensil that you don't mind getting stained. And then if you have leftovers, I would for sure put it in a glass container, or again, a container that you don't care too much about. So here, I'm just gonna let the onion get a little bit soft with some olive oil. It doesn't take a whole lot. I'm really big into meal prepping. I have a whole container here of shredded chicken breast. Well, some of it's shredded and some of it's not, but I'm going to use shredded chicken in this. So I don't even have to cook it today. I cooked it in the Instant Pot a couple days ago. So here I have about 2 or 3 cloves, depending on the size. Just give that a stir. Garlic and onion is just one of those, it just makes everything better. A little garlic and onion, it's such a cheap ingredient, but it enhances every dish. Now when I cook this recipe, I don't exactly measure. I'm just gonna try to show you today for recipe's sake. That so far is 1 teaspoon of curry. I used yellow curry powder, and I'm probably going to double that. It really just depends on your preference, how strong you like it. Curry is a very distinct flavor, and obviously it's like the most important ingredient in this recipe. But if you find that it's just not strong enough for you, add some more. I just wanted to get it all on those aromatics. We're gonna add some salt, probably about half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon, just depending on your preference. You can always add more seasoning once the liquids are added, so give it a taste test at that point. The other ingredient we're going to be using is some coconut milk. I use the full fat, regular, just standard coconut milk, and I love this one. All it has is the coconut milk in it. And I already can tell that I want more curry in it, so I added 1 more teaspoon. We're just gonna let this simmer for a little bit. This is one of those recipes that is so easily adaptable. You could add some carrots, some chickpeas. I mean, honestly, there are so many things that you could add to a curry. Now that all of the fat has dissolved and mixed, incorporated with the milk, the fat from the milk has incorporated, I'm going to go ahead and add some shredded chicken. So like I said earlier, this is already cooked and shredded. And then if you want it to be saucier, just add less chicken. At this point, you'll go ahead and taste the sauce. Make sure that it's flavorful enough for you. Now this curry is really good as is, but you can put so many different kinds of toppings on it. When I was in college, Missionaries to Africa hosted a really big dinner for all of us at Christmas time, and they served this chicken curry with boiled eggs in it as well, like a whole boiled egg. and then a whole smorgasbord buffet style of all different kinds of toppings that you could choose from. So peanuts, diced up apple, there were raisins, shredded coconut, oh, banana. I think there was even more than that, but there were so many good options to choose from. They all taste amazing in this. It sounds really weird. It has become one of my go-to recipes. For my tomato sauce, when I make pasta, I like to mix half of a jar of sauce plus a can of tomato sauce that's plain. That just cuts out some of the sugar and it already gives me some of the spices. It's just one of my easy cheats. It does save a little bit of money doing it that way as well, but I like to pick up these jars of sauce like this whenever they're on sale down to less than $1. I'll stock up and then just mix it with my regular tomato sauce. I'm going to also add some onion, garlic. I might add some more spices like Italian seasoning. I'm going to add a bell pepper. I'm gonna add some of this chicken. I have some that I can just cut or I can use shredded, so. One of my hacks for fast food or takeout sauces is to keep them in a spot where I'm going to remember to use them. Basically, just put them on the meal plan and then have them sitting in the spot ready to go for that week. I usually make my own, but since I had so much of this in the last couple of months, I'm just going to use it up and then mozzarella cheese on top. This is already mixed. Once I mix them, I just put it back into the jar. And then the last thing is just to combine all three things. You could add some cheese to this too, like mozzarella inside it. Pepper jack would even be really good. Or you can top it with Parmesan cheese or do all of the above. So just get this all mixed in together. I wanted to thin it out a little bit. And the thing about cooking pasta is it goes so much further than you think it's going to. You could have what looks like maybe just a cup of uncooked pasta and then you boil it and it turns into enough to feed your family. I'm telling you, once you mix all of the ingredients together, if you only have 3 people in your home, you do not need a whole pound of pasta. So I'll show you in this box. This is how much I still have. And it's not a very big box, but you saw what it was before we cooked it. I'm telling you, it goes so much further than you think. I have a stir fry kit that I want to use up, and it's still good, still looks good. I don't know, we might some baked chicken. I think this one is still good. Kind of a sad leftover onion, so we'll get that going. This cucumber's on its last leg. Maybe I'll make a salad. All right, I have the chicken that was already prepped, ready to go. This is everything I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to use today. This has some carrot in it already, snap peas, broccoli, looks like Brussels sprouts, and then mushrooms, and then some of our remaining homemade dressing. The last little bit of our good romaine, and then some good spinach for a salad. So I think we'll be good. All right, so the chicken is already cooked, like I showed you, and this bag says that it is just going to take minutes. I wanted to do it on my sheet pan. I figured that would be really easy. I wouldn't have to babysit it. I would just toss it in the oven. I already preheated my oven, so that's what I'm gonna do with a little bit of salt, pepper, and olive oil, and then when it's all done, I will just add the sauce. Pop that back in the oven.
What you making?
Just some extra sauce. That the sauce kit came with the stir fry, but I'm gonna add some extra sauce. Some of the extra sauce. I decided to top it with some sesame seeds and then put it back in the oven at that point. Then I just served it with that salad. We had our homemade dressing. It was a ton of vegetables, but so flavorful. Show us how you can eat your vegetables and like teach kids to eat their vegetables.
It tastes yummy.
Thanks for joining my family today, and I hope that you were able to get some inspiration for your dinners. And any ideas that you have, leave them in the comments below. I love to hear from you, meet you there, and I will see you in the next video.